Hi, my name is James Shepard, and today I'm going to talk to you about prospecting with email. Prospecting with email. Now, email serves a very important role in prospecting today. No matter what it is that you're prospecting, email serves a very important role. But the irony about email prospecting is that email prospecting is very beneficial when it's used correctly, or it can be a huge waste of time, and it can even be a way for you to lose sales if you're not careful. So let me start off by telling you the primary way that I use email, and I think this will really help you in your sales efforts out in the field or on the phone. So the primary way that I use email is that I assume that the prospect is never going to see my email. Now, you're probably thinking like, what? I assume that the prospect, well, maybe never is the wrong word, but I assume the prospect is not going to see my email until I've talked to them or before I've talked to them next. So let me explain what I mean by that. I go in and I talk to a business owner, right? They're super busy. I can tell that there is absolutely no way I'm going to sell this person today. Like, they are swamped. They have a line out the door. You know, I accidentally went into a pizza shop at 12:30 in the afternoon or 6 o'clock in the evening, and they're just swamped. There's no way I'm going to make a sale. What do? I say, hey, no problem at all. Would you mind if I just emailed you some information? Well, the irony is that business owners love to say yes to that because they know it means I'm getting rid of this person. And of course, I never have to see or answer their email anyway, right? So they give me their card, I go back to the office, or even right there on my phone or whatever, I'll do it. But usually I'll do it the next morning. And I try to batch email prospecting, because if you don't batch email prospecting, it really can take over your day. So I'll batch it out. Probably the next morning, I'll take 30 minutes or an hour early in the morning to send out my emails. So I'm now sending an email to this person, and I've got a bunch of like template emails. If you use Gmail, you can do something called a canned response. Just look up how to use canned responses in Gmail. That's what I did. And so I've got a bunch of things, hey, Bill, it was great to meet you. Here's a couple links I thought you might find interesting, blah, 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 right? Again, I don't care. They're not going to see it anyway before I talk to them. So I send this email out, which obviously they're going to delete, or they're going to think it's spam or whatever. What did I send that email out for? Why would I do that? Because it gives me a great excuse to call or visit them again. Okay, so I've sent the email out, and let's say I sent the email about our new pizza shop ordering system or something that has to do with them. I'm going to send them an email about whatever I want to talk about next. So then I call them up. Hey, Bill, it's great talking with you. I was in there yesterday for a minute when you guys were real busy, and then I sent you that email just like you asked me to, and hopefully you got a chance to review that, but I just wanted to cover a couple things real quick. Do you have like a minute for me? And what happens is, if you say a line like that, you might want to even have to rewind and do that a couple times. What happens is I'm leveraging the guilt of the prospect, because I want that emotional response of, oh yeah, I did tell that guy to email me. Stink. He actually emailed me, and now he's actually following up on the email that I was supposed to read, which of course I deleted, and now they feel terrible, and they're going to give you a minute of their time to listen to you. Even better still, I'll walk back in if I'm in that's why I like to prospect in one geographic area for a little while. I'll walk back in, hey, Bill, how's it going? Hey, I sent you that email like you asked yesterday. I didn't know if you'd had a chance to read it yet or not. And they'll say, oh, no, I didn't. I mean, I don't think I have literally ever had a prospect say, yeah, I read it this morning. I love that second point you made. They never do that. Never. What they say always is, no, I didn't even see that. Or, oh, I'm sorry. No, I didn't get to it. Right? So what do? I say, no problem at all. Let me tell you what I had in there. And now I have my conversation. So again, the idea of the email prospecting is I prospect through phone, or walk in or whatever. Then I use the email to introduce whatever topic I want to discuss next. Then I go back in and I talk about the topic, or call them and talk about the topic, even though they never saw my email, of course, right? That is how you use email for prospecting. Now, there's one other way that you can use email, but at the beginning I said there's two ways. The first one is that. The second way you can use email is in a mass marketing way. So let me give you an example. Some of you probably saw on my LinkedIn profile that I rolled out a new company. It's a software billing for self-storage units. And so we're doing that. And so I have like an inside sales team, and we're selling this billing software. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm creating a podcast episode where I'm going to interview self-storage property managers every week. And I'm going to do an interview with them, and then I'm going to promote this podcast by emailing it to everybody who's ever given us their email address. So we have all these prospects. So imagine, you got the email address, you sent them something, you went back and talked to them, and they were like, no thanks, whatever. Well, that's okay. You got their email address now. So now you need to do something on a weekly basis where you're just keeping your name in front of them. And what's going to happen is two things. Over time, you're going to get a lot of these email addresses. I mean, it's not as hard as you would think to get 1,000 email addresses. It really isn't. Like in your local market, it's not that hard. I mean, if you're walking into 100 businesses a week, it's not that hard to get 1,000 email addresses in a year. You can really do that. So when you have 1,000 email addresses and every week you're really sending out a good piece of content like a podcast with, again, you could do the same thing I'm doing. Just do a podcast and interview a local business owner, in your area. They love that. Local business owners love that kind of stuff. Put it on your Facebook page, whatever. But send it out via email. Everybody's going to get that and they're like, oh, cool. You're going to have out of 1,000, you're going to have 3 or 4 every time you do that are going to reach out to you. So like for me, I'm super excited to get our self-storage list up to the point where we've got those 1,000 emails. And the call center I'm working with, one of their big things is like, give me email addresses. I want email addresses because the more of those I have, I know that eventually I'm going to get those 3 or 4 out of 1,000 every time I send it out that are going to reach out and say, I saw that before. I remember that. I'm actually interested now. I know I'm going to get that, and so I want to get to those 1,000 email addresses as quickly as possible because it's really important for prospecting. So you can do that mass email approach. So you use the email out there to introduce the next topic. When you don't make a sale, or if you do, continue with mass marketing email, and that's where you're going to get those responses. But again, it's going to be like 3 or 4 out of 1,000. So hopefully that'll help you to understand a little bit better about how to integrate email into your prospecting methodology. My name is James Shepard. Thanks for watching and listening.